Welcome Year 10s to the first of several Fusion 360 lessons that you will be doing through our YouTube channel to help you with your prep and to prepare for next year when you're going to have to draw your actual projects on Fusion 360. So no time like the present then to actually start some practice. As you can guess, it's Mr. Taher here, Mr. Gilbert, Mr. Gohan and Mr. Moore might appear on some future lessons. But for today, it's just me and lesson 1. Now, you will have been told in school about Fusion 360 and how to download it onto your personal computers. It's very easy to do. If you need reminders, it's just Google it, download it onto your desktop, enter some login credentials. All you need is an email address. And it's very simple to change it from a trial version to a student account, which allows you free access for 3 years. So that's very simple and will have been explained to you at school. So we all should have Fusion 360 open in front of us, either doing it as you go or watch the video first and then have a go at it yourself. As you can see, there's quite a lot going on the screen. Don't be worried, don't be concerned by that. We will talk you through as much of it as we possibly can in these lessons. But for today, we're going to start off small, do some really basic things, some really basic commands that will allow you to branch off in future lessons. So if you look at the left-hand side of the screen here, this is where most of our work will take place today, here and in the center of the screen. Now at the minute I have a blank, untitled document. I haven't started any work. We're starting from very scratch. And what we're going to do today is basically, if you could imagine a cube or a dice shape, and we're just going to cut a hole out of that cube. The reason we do that for today is it's very simple. You just have to draw a square and extrude it. And you're going to learn how to draw a circle and extrude, cut that as well. 2 really basic things, but things that you will use a lot. So over here we see we have unsaved. When I go to save my project at the end, we can save it as lesson 1 if we like. And we're only going to have one component. We'll talk about components in future lessons, but for today we don't need to create any new components. Today we just need to start a sketch. So you'll see on the left hand side we have an origin symbol here, and there's also a little light bulb beside that origin. If you click on that light bulb and you notice the center of the screen, what's appeared is our planes, the planes that we can draw on. Now I'll do that again just in case you didn't see it. So it's gone now. If you focus your attention on the middle of the screen and just click that little light bulb at the same time, you'll see it reappear. So you have a red, green and blue line, and you also have 4 squares. Now those 4 squares represent planes that we can actually start to draw on. For today and for our task, it doesn't matter which plane we select, but in future tasks it will depend a lot on what you're trying to do. So if you want to select a plane on which you want to draw on, today I'm going to select the front plane, which is this one here. This one is the top plane, and this is our side plane. So today I'm going to select the front plane, and what I'm going to do is right click on that, and you will see it will give me lots of options around the top here, none of which are of any use to me just yet. The one I need to select is Create Sketch. Once I hit Create Sketch, the screen will orientate itself so that that front plane is now facing towards you. It's no longer in a isometric or 360 view, it's more like a 2D design version that you might be used to. And that's handy for us because what we can do is we can now sketch on that plane a basic square shape, and then we can turn that square shape into a cube that we're going to need to do later on. Now in order to sketch, if you look at the top left of the screen, you have a sketch toolbar. Don't worry about any of this stuff along here just for now, just focus on the sketch toolbar. What we're going to do is we're going to hit that drop down menu on the sketch toolbar. Now there is no feature for square, but the closest one that we have is a rectangle. So if you select rectangle and 2-point rectangle, click on that. Once you drag back into the center of the screen, you'll see how your cursor will change to a smaller cursor with a little rectangle beside it, and a crosshairs that moves around with you as you move. Now wherever you position that crosshairs is where your square or your rectangle is going to start. Now I want mine to start exactly on the center point of the screen, which is your origin, just there. And you'll see place first corner appears there. It appears on every dot that you select. So I'm going to select just in the center of the screen. I'm going to click once, and then I'm going to drag out any distance. It doesn't matter. Okay, you can make it look similar to a square, smaller or bigger, it doesn't really matter. We're going to change the dimensions in just a minute. So I'm going to click again to end. Now, I have something that looks like a square, but I'm not 100% sure if it is a square or not. In order to make sure it's a square, I need to dimension it, or in other words, put some measurements on that square. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press escape. And for us now, guys, we need to dimension this square. Now the easiest way to dimension, or the easiest way to get dimension up on the screen, is just by pressing the D on your keyboard. Once I've pressed D, it appears as a dimension line, or dimension icon you could say. So you have a cursor and you have a little symbol beside that stands for dimension. When I want to dimension something or dimension a line, I should click the center of the line, just click once, and drag to the left or to the right depending on where you are. You can move the dimension writing so that it's at the top or the middle of the line also. Try keep it in the middle line just for neatness. And keep it a nice distance away, not too close like that. Just about there is good. Once I click again, it gives me the option to change that dimension. Now I could leave it at 80 for today, but just to show you the difference, I'm going to change it to 100. So type in 100 and then press enter. Now you may notice that some of your square or your rectangle has left your line of sight from the screen. So what you can do is on the roller on your mouse, just roll outwards and it will reappear just as we need it. So I want this to be a square. Now I have this side is 100 and this side will also be 100. I do not need to dimension this side again. The computer or Fusion 360 already knows that from dimensioning this side, it knows I want this side to also be 100. So what I need to do is dimension either the top or the bottom. I'm just going to go ahead and do the bottom. I'm going to click on the center of the line and I'm going to drag downwards. As you see, it's already 80. We don't want it to be 80, so I'm going to click again. I'm going to change that to being 100. And I'm going to press enter. Now we notice that it's a perfect square, 100 by 100, and it's also turned black. It was blue at the start, now it's black. That means if I press escape and I drag either corner or try to move it, it's not going to move. Because the computer or Fusion 360 is now happy that I've dimensioned it properly, it knows what boundaries I've set, and it's not going to be able to be dragged around anywhere. So now we have a basic square, and what we need to do is turn that square into a cube. Now if I draw your attention to the right hand side of the screen, top right, we have a little house symbol, and we also have a cube with different writings on the front of it. So it says front at the minute because that's the view I'm looking at my actual sketch. If I press the home button, it will go back to that original 360 or isometric view that we had of our planes at the start. And you can now see your square as it lies. For us guys, we want to turn that square into a cube. So what we need to do is we need to put a thickness on it. At the minute it's just like a sheet of glass. It has no real thickness. We have to change that so that it does have a thickness. In order for us to do that, we go to the create menu and we click extrude. And I will get this menu that I see here on the right hand side. Now there is another way I can get extrude, and just to show you both ways, and you can pick whichever way you think is easiest, I'm going to press escape for now just to get rid of that menu, or cancel will also do the same thing. I'm going to go back, press home so I can get the same view as I had before. Now instead of going to the create menu, I'm simply just going to press the Q letter on my keyboard. You don't get the exact same menu straight away, but what you do get is press pull menu. And all you have to do then guys is select the actual sketch that you've made. So I'm going to select my square. I don't need to press OK, it'll just go to the next menu. And there I have the menu that I had just before. So it is a little bit quicker just to press Q and you don't have to go messing through any of the menus. up in the top left. So that will get better as we go along. So the two shortcuts that we know so far are pressing D for dimension and Q for extrude. Now I want this to be a perfect cube, so if it's 100 by 100 in these two dimensions, then you can imagine it also has to be 100 in its depth. Now I can change that one of two ways. I can either grab the arrow, pull that arrow until it's 100, or I can just go over to the right hand side and type 100, whichever way you feel is easiest. Obviously if you have 0.5s or 0.8s or 9s that you might have to do for different projects, it might be easier just to type it than to pull it out. So I'm going to press OK, and there now guys I have an actual cube. Okay, if you wondered how I moved or panned just that time, there's the roller on your mouse. If you press the roller downwards, it gives you that pan button so you can drag it to whichever way you want in the screen. Nearly there now guys, we just have a little bit more to do. I want to sketch a circle on one of those faces and drill a hole, you could say, through this block. So on this surface here, I want to drill a hole. So what I'm going to do on that surface is right click on that surface, and I'm going to create a sketch just like we did before with the plane. Create sketch again, and you can imagine what's going to happen when I press this button. The screen is going to orientate around so that that face is facing us like a sheet of glass again. So I'm going to press create sketch, and there we have it guys. We have that face facing us just like a sheet of glass or a 2D drawing. Now I want to draw a circle right in the middle of that face, so I'm going to go to sketch up in the top left, and I'm going to press circle. Now I have lots of different circle options. The easiest one or the basic one for us is just the top one, center diameter circle. The guys that are maybe finding this a little bit easier could imagine I have an easier way of getting a circle. I just pressed escape to get rid of that. The easier way to do it would just be pressing C on my keyboard and circle will appear. So that's another shortcut that we know. So we have D for dimension, Q for extrude, and C for circle. I'm going to drag my cursor into the middle of the block. I'm going to click on the very center and I'm going to drag. I'm going to click. I don't care about the dimension just yet. I can change that in a second. I'm going to press escape to get rid of my circle. And I'm going to press D for dimension to change that into a size that I want. And the size that I want is 50. Press escape again. And there you go guys. I'm happy with that. Now you notice it's not black. Okay, but that doesn't matter because I know it's on the center point. That's where I started to draw it. So you can leave it as it is. That doesn't really matter. Next thing guys is you want to cut that hole through the block. So I'm going to press the home button so I can get my 3D view again. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so I can see the whole thing. Now extrude, cut and extrude are the same option that we need to select on our keyboard. So I'm just going to press Q again. Press pull will come up and I'm going to select the circle. Now guys, I can at this moment pull this out so that it looks like a camera lens coming out of a camera, or what I want to actually do is to cut that shape through back through the block. So I'm going to drag it the opposite direction, and you see that it starts to cut through the piece. Okay, I'm not going to press OK just yet. I'm going to show you a few little things. You'll see that it says distance minus 90, not plus 90. If I change that to take the minus away, you'll see how it goes the opposite direction. If you wanted to go through the piece, it should be minus. So I'm going to just re-include the minus there. I don't want any taper angle. It's extend here, distance. So if it's down as distance, then you just have to type in the distance you want. If I wanted to go to a certain distance or stop at a certain place, there's also something I can do. So if I press drop down on the distance, and I'm going to press to object. Okay. Now it doesn't know what object I want to actually cut to just yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press shift on my keyboard, and I'm going to press down on the roller on my keyboard as well, and I'm going to drag around so I can see the back of the piece. So what I did there just again guys, I pressed shift on my keyboard, and at the same time I pressed down on the roller for the pan button on your mouse, and you can orientate it so you can see the back view. Now this is good practice guys to select the surface that you want it to extend to. Because if I ever had to go back and change this block from being 100 by 100 to maybe 80 by 80, it would still stop at the same surface that I needed it to. It wouldn't go out further, or it wouldn't go less than you actually needed. So I'm going to select this back surface that it has to cut to. So that knows no matter what size I rechange this block to, it's always going to cut exactly all the way through, no further or no less. Once you're happy with that, guys, just press OK. And what I have now, if I press the home button, is a block with a circle cut all the way through it. Okay? Very easy, guys. Nothing too difficult. If you need to replay anything, just replay the video back a couple of seconds and listen to what I've said again. So that's some real basics for today, guys. That's all you have to do is draw a block, cut a hole through it. If you've done that, then I know that you're able to sketch, you're able to extrude, and you're able to extrude cut. And you're also able to use certain commands like D for dimension, C for circle, Q for extrude. You can also use the home button to get your view back in shape. You can also pan using your mouse and your keyboard. So that's all I need you to do for today, guys. So after that, I need you to save your work. So on this menu, you drop down, you're going to click save. It's already untitled. You're going to stop that and you're going to say lesson 1. If you want, you can put brackets, cube, close brackets. Okay. Now these all save to the Fusion 360 cloud. You don't really save it to a memory stick or a folder on your computer. It will be on your account when you log back in. Okay, so when you're using Fusion 360, you have your own account. Everything you save saves to your own account. So it goes demo project, that's what we just started on. Master, that's fine. Press save there, guys, and that's all you need to do. And you'll see then, guys, that it's changed from untitled to lesson 1 cube with hole version 0. Okay, that's all you need to do today, guys. After that, what I want you to do is take a screen grab of this and with your name in the top right. So you can see my name is up here. Your name will be on your Fusion 360 account. So what you can do is just control print screen, bring it into Paint, and just print it out, guys. Bring it into school, and we'll stick it in your sketch folders as lesson 1. So that's lesson 1, guys. I hope everyone finds it okay. Any problems, do ask at school, but that should be fine. Okay, lesson 1 finished.